Hello and welcome to the second day of this special program marking the celebrations of the National Day in commemoration of the establishment of the Bahraini state as an Arab and Muslim country founded by Ahmed al-Fatih in 1783, the anniversary of its full membership in the United Nations, and the anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne. Today we continue joining the Bahraini community and proudly celebrating our national's steady integrated development and achievements in various sectors. Stay tuned for our special coverage. We will be right back.
فقد تقرر أن يكون اليوم 17 من ديسمبر من كل عام الذي يصادف يوم عيد جلوسنا مناسبة احتفاء وتكريم للشهداء تقديرا واعتزازا لما قدموه لوطنهم وأمتهم من تضحية وفداء.
يوم الشهيد شهادة وقرار، إن الذي يفدي البلاد مجار، ذكرى لأبطال البلاد وذكرهم من يوم تأسيس البلاد نهار.
يوم مبجل خصه حامي الحمى، في يوم عيد ذكره مختار، قد عزهم رب البرية بالرضا، أحياء عند إلههم أبرار، في كل معركة تسمي أهلها أسماؤهم عز لنا تذكار، حفظ الإله بلادنا برجالها، سور البلاد رجالها الأخيار.
يوم الشهيد شهادة وقرار، إن الذي يفدي البلاد مجار، ذكرى لأبطال البلاد وذكرهم من يوم تأسيس البلاد نهار.
Welcome back. The annual December 17 Commemoration Day will always remain an outstanding milestone and a source of national pride in recognition of the heroes who sacrificed their lives to achieve justice and defend the homeland's security and sovereignty. Let us watch this report for more.
Bahrainis pay their respects today to the martyrs whose names and sacrifices to keep this nation stable, safe and prosperous will forever remain engraved in our history.
I would like to thank His Majesty Sheikh Hamad for him so that he dedicated a day for the martyrs, and I am so proud that my uncle gave his soul for this country, and I'm too ready to give my soul for this country too.
His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa has dedicated the 17th of December of each year, which coincides with the anniversary of His Majesty's accession to the throne, to the martyrs of Bahrain. The day is a remembrance of all the soldiers and policemen who gave their lives to the kingdom's peace and security.
I just want to thank him for putting work and effort into making this day happen and making it an actual day. And I also would like to thank everybody for their recognition. We were all devastated, but it's nice to see that people are here with us and they're supporting us and they're, giving us their hands. So I'm very thankful for that.
The Commemoration Day was launched as a token of gratitude to the brave servicemen of the BDF, Interior Ministry and National Guard.
Thank you, King Hamad, and everything you do. I love King Hamad and thank you for doing anything for Bahrain.
Today it's a very important day for Bahrain, and thanks for the King Hamad.
The day comes to shed light on the sacrifices of these brave men and women and appreciate what they have given to our beloved kingdom.
Welcome back. The health field is one of the leading sectors that has been constantly developing and actively advancing, despite the challenges imposed by the recent health circumstances. For more about that, we are pleased to be joined here at the studio by the Under-Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Walid Al-Mana. Hello, Dr. Walid, and welcome with us to this special coverage.
Thank you actually for inviting me today. It's given me a great pleasure to be with you today. And if you allow me, just I want to raise my sincere congratulations and blessing for His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Prime Minister, all people of Bahrain for the celebration of the National Day, hoping everyone will be in a good health and enjoying also the happy times of these days.
Dr. Walid, can you tell us about the Kingdom's current updates in terms of the health and the updates of the coronavirus pandemic and other variants?
Well, it was a little bit a hard time which we had for the previous 2 years, but thanks God that Bahrain achieved a leading mainly position worldwide, which was very well recognized about combating the disease. I think that the National Task Force for combating COVID-19 worked very sincerely these times and for limiting the spread of the disease, for safeguarding even the economy of the country. There are a lot. We are now, thanks God that we are on the traffic light of the green mainly level, which we found it, which is the lowest mainly level for the traffic light. Still, the restriction from traveling, we are in need for it. Sometimes that the evaluation for other countries and whatever quarantine we are in need, testing, it will depend on the situation for other countries also. But in Bahrain in general, we have a very limited number of cases on a daily basis. We will say that from 20 to 40. And thank God that nobody will be in need for hospitalization. It's a very limited number. Maybe yesterday only just one we have them in the hospital and one maybe in the ICU. And we had maybe more than 2 weeks before without any single case in the intensive care units. And this is a real actually good prognosis for Bahrain. Combating the disease was really very important, as I mentioned, limiting the spread of this disease and talking about the numbers which we achieved now. Also, there are other numbers. The recovery rate in Bahrain is very high. And the recovery rate is not only just for the economic, which we are in the boss of the first worldwide, but even the recovery rate in Bahrain as a clinical problems mainly, or the cases which is erupted for the few, let us say, last months. So in Bahrain, it's more than 300, maybe 1,000 already recovered without any problems, alhamdulillah. And we have done now more than 670,000 booster doses which was given. Now we reached for about 1.2 million vaccination for vaccination. This counts nearly to about 80% from our population. And maybe the rest are some of the categories that they are not eligible mainly for vaccine. Even now in Bahrain, even less than 12 years, the vaccine of Sinopharm is there. So we achieved a lot, limitation of this disease, this number of booster doses was given. I think the tests which reached to about 7 million tests Bahrain until now, which is very huge. We are very proud about it. So a lot of things to talk about. The thing is that our outcome today is really very promising, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. All of these achievements have earned the Bahrain so many international recognitions. And speaking of which, can you tell me what are the achievements that have been achieved for the Kingdom of Bahrain, especially during this month or the previous month?
Well, I just maybe raise something about combating the disease, which they know, all of us actually, they know about it. But still there are other achievements. Even we maintain, let us say, the level of achievement to sector of health in Bahrain while we are combating also the disease. So talking about that, we have the SDGs, which is like Sustainable Development Goals, and we are concerned with the third goal in Bahrain. And this goal mainly related to the health sector and the health status in each country. Talking about the chronic diseases like hypertension, diabetes, cardiac diseases. In Bahrain, they also achieved a lot about lowering the rate of these chronic diseases. Not only that, the factors which will cause these chronic diseases, already also there are a lot actually of actions done for it, like the lifestyle, the factor of like smoking, exercising, something which is maybe nobody knows about it, but still Bahrain are achieving a lot in these things, which is very important. We call them the NCDs, which is non-communicable diseases. But unfortunately, we had for the previous 2 years, it is the communicable disease, which is the COVID-19. Other than that, there are two main cities in Bahrain, Umm al-Hassan and Manama. They have actually been as healthy cities worldwide recognized, which is a great actually achievement counted actually to Bahrain. So there are a lot, as I mentioned, about the chronic diseases, the factor that will cause these chronic diseases. There are something which is very interesting also. We had a lecture, diabetic lecture, which was actually registered in Guinness actually World Book for Records as a main record for Bahrain. It is one of the large events as a diabetic culture, which was done at that time. We opened, even within these 2 years, many health centers, new health centers. And there are some health centers, about 9 health centers also open for about 24 hours, rather than only just limitation of about 10 to 15 hours like that. For the hospitals, and there are some new centers that also will be open very soon, which is for dialysis, for kidney dialysis. You know, a lot of achievement, which is in parallel with combating the disease, and we feel proud actually about it.
All of these achievements are a source of pride for the kingdom and in the hearts of its people.
Sure.
Dr. Walid, how do you value the efforts of the Bahraini cadres in combating the pandemic?
Well, there are heroes. It's something which is very touching to talk about the cadres in Bahrain and the health professionals, and even actually the whole people in Bahrain. I will just say that there are some health sector professionals, and there are volunteers, and there are a lot of supporting even cadre, Bahraini cadre from other ministries and even from the private sector. They did a lot as a team of Bahrain. All of them actually together, they have achieved this outcome which we are talking about. So they are very sincere, keen for their job, and very professional. And what is the outcome what I'm talking about? If you are talking about 7 million tests in Bahrain as a PCR, and the population of Bahrain is about 1.5 million. It's something great, which is not done by any other country. How it was done? Because of that Bahrain actually cadre. These heroes which were working on a daily basis, 24 hours, 7 days without even actually stopping. Volunteers, at that time when they announced that we are in need for volunteers, 50,000 volunteers actually come just to assist us in supporting the health sector in Bahrain. It's not only just the health sector, all other, something which is related, mainly services that will be done. 7 million tests. We reached about 80% of our population are vaccinated. It was given, it's not only just the booster now, which as I mentioned about the number 670,000, but 1.2 million in a very short actually time. The management, you know the treatment center in Bahrain increased by a factor of 6. It was mentioned actually by His Royal Highness, the Prime Minister in his speech and the WHO, that it was raised by 6 factors. The Bahrain are about 2,800 maybe beds which you have in general, which is public sector and even actually the private sector. It was increased by 6. You are talking about 9,000, something like that, beds in the whole country. You need to build your capacity very, very fast, and it was done actually in a very short time. Because of that cadre, because of these volunteers, because of all the support which was given by them, it's really they are heroes. And because we reached with these outcomes of tests, number of beds which was open there in Bahrain, number of vaccines which was given, it's actually great, and it put Bahrain in a position for one of the very well recognized worldwide as a model for other countries.
And all of these efforts have led Bahrain to earn international recognitions.
Sure.
Can you tell us more about these international recognitions?
Well, I just remember 3 things while actually His Excellency, Director General, Dr. Tedros, when he had been here to Bahrain. At that time, he had a goal that to open like a main office for WHO in the country, which is very well actually recognized, something that will be an added value for us. And opening such actually an office in Bahrain was really actually great, and it will be reflected to the country with great achievement. While he was here, he asked about the services which was given and the efforts which was related to combating COVID-19. He was really impressed about it, and he had a time that he gets all the information in a very short actually period. But then whenever he finished actually his let us say, going and seeing such services, he said that Bahrain have to be a model for other countries, and they are actually leading. It is a leading actually country as a leadership for combating COVID-19. And we have to take the experience of Bahrain, the successful story, as something which will be a reference for other countries to do the same as our country. So he was impressed about the COVID-19 related management, combating such a disease, and he was talking about new office that will be open in the country. Other than that, very interestingly, he was impressed about the role of women in Bahrain, the Bahraini women. And he was impressed about how they are managing with a great number of women. And I will just tell you that it's about maybe 60% of our cadre in Bahrain. They are actually ladies, they are women. And he was really impressed about it. And he said that you are actually a real leader, even and let us say, have the leadership by the women in the country of Bahrain. Well, other than these, there are a lot of other countries. They found Bahrain to be like a model, as I mentioned. They were referred to us mainly for the management protocols. We have one of the most very effective protocol management in our country. They were referring us for the vaccination, the booster, let us say, dose which was given. And I will just tell you that the experience of Bahrain and booster, for example, doses which was given, we are also the leaders in that. We are very pioneer in that we started very early, before even it was there, or let us say, it was suggested by any other countries. So I think it's really, again, these are very added values for us as the WHO General Director. He mentioned Bahrain about it. Other organizations were talking about Bahrain, and thanks to God that on a daily basis now they will just ask about our experience, even some of the countries that they were for us as a reference or a model. Thanks to that we are still very proud, and will be inshallah proud for a long time about talking about the successful story about combating this disease.
Bahrain is definitely a model, and it has proved itself on the international level. Dr. Walid, can you tell us about the upcoming events, plans or initiatives that will be held by the Ministry of Health in the upcoming period?
Yeah. Well, mentioning about Ministry of Health, you know, now the health sector in Bahrain, there are some changes there. And I think this change, mainly the main goal for it is that to promote more for health sector in the country. And we just want to improve the services as much as we could. Actually the population in Bahrain, they heard about the autonomy for the hospitals, the autonomy for primary care. So they have to be given more, let us say, support in such sectors that they will have more and more. And for Ministry of Health, again, we have to concentrate on health promotion, which is very important for us. And health promotion will come before prevention of the disease. You found it now in the COVID-19. We were just talking about the awareness of our population in the country, which is very important. This awareness with transparency, which we talk about, it's really give the trust of the action which was taken by Ministry of Health and by the team of Bahrain. So the awareness about the diseases, about the chronic diseases, it's very cheap, and at the same time it will be it will change mainly the number and the rate of chronic diseases. So the awareness is very important, and this is the role of Ministry of Health as a health promotion. Ministry of Health will be more covering the internal relationships and also external relationship. You were talking about how are we recognized actually worldwide? Do we have the achievement and the other, let us say, international organization talking about Bahrain? We have to market ourselves, and I think that This is the new rule that the Ministry of Health have to emphasize on for the coming few, inshallah, years. Ministry of Health will be a leader mainly in training, as a national training. So we'll get all the efforts, world literacy in the country. There will be like a training program which will cover that. And for the quality, because the new role of Ministry of Health also will emphasize on the performance and on the quality of service which will be provided. What are the, let us say, the modalities mainly of the treatment of service which will be given for our population in our country. So these are, let us say, the main plan of Ministry of Health. Also the inspection of health facilities. We have to increase it, and we have a plan or target to reach to about 3,000 at least inspection per year for our health facilities, or the facilities that will be licensed or given like the permission from Ministry of Health. Public health is something that will be very well recognized, because all which was done in COVID-19 is something which is like public health related. You know, the lab for the public health, as I mentioned about the health promotion, and also what will be the role for communicable diseases and non-communicable diseases, and how could we reduce by surveys, by research, which is very important in the coming few years. So research, we will depend on that, on whatever decision which will be taken. We had an experience from COVID-19 that two main strategies are there: transparency, and we work on facts rather than perception. So if you want to work on facts, and your decisions will be, let's say, smart decisions, you have to have a real actually research which will be reflecting the real, let's say, information in the country and the knowledge. So you have to transfer it from information to a knowledge, and the reporting which will be done. So I think this Ministry of Health will be tackling all these issues in the coming days.
Dr. Walid, you spoke about awareness. And what recommendations would you give to citizens and residents during the National Day?
Okay, thank you. We should just talk about it rather than the conference, which usually are giving some message over there. Oh, first of all, let them enjoy, and enjoyment for these days. Happiness will be, inshallah, for everyone in the National Day. But I think that there are many activities that could be done as an outdoor rather than indoor. So I just an advice that the outdoor mainly activity is better for them, and also it will reduce mainly the infection if it is there. Getting mainly the vaccine is very important. Anyone who's not vaccinated yet, he have to get the vaccine. Anyone who already had the vaccine, he have to take the booster. And maybe whenever he's eligible to take the booster, he have to take it immediately. It will be really actually something that will be guarding himself, and it will be like a safeguard for him, even actually to prevent the disease. Wearing mask, distancing, still very small. It's very actually, it's something that's not that much hard to do it, but we are in need for it also for the coming few days. Whenever we have like this gathering, which is like so one of the type of, they will gather. They want just to be happy. They want to celebrate, and I know that these restrictions which will not cost you that much. It will not that much be hard to wear actually a mask and have this, let's say, distancing, and you're assured that you are vaccinated already, and you had actually the booster if you are in need for it. Be outdoor rather than indoor. I would just conclude with this advice. I don't want to be that much really give them actually more burden for the coming days.
I really hope everyone will follow these wise recommendations. Sure. Dr. Walid Al-Mana, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
And on this special occasion, we would like to pay tribute to all members of the Kingdom's White Army and affiliates of the Ministry of Health who are performing a noble national role with highest quality and professionalism standards that paved the way toward gaining international praise. Dear viewers, stay tuned with us. We will be back after this short break. Marking this special occasion, Ambassador of Korea highlighted the deep-rooted bilateral relations and congratulated Bahrain's leadership and its people.
This year marks a 45th anniversary of diplomatic ties between our two countries. But at the same time, I understand Bahrain is celebrating very meaningful anniversaries this year. On behalf of Korean people and Korean government, I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to Bahrain on the National Day coming. I believe Bahrain has been a model of coexistence and peace, and under His Majesty's leadership, Bahrain has made strides towards humanity and economic development or other coexisting values too. I sincerely hope, based on this, our relationship between Republic of Korea and Kingdom of Bahrain will continue to thrive, and also our people can make a big harvest from this friendship and partnership too. Thank you.
Also marking the occasion, various ambassadors to the Kingdom of Bahrain were keen to extend their best wishes and congratulations.
On the occasion of the National Day of the Kingdom of Bahrain, it gives me great pleasure to extend heartfelt congratulations and best wishes to His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and to His Royal Highness Crown Prince Prime Minister Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa. The relationship between Germany and Bahrain is excellent. Next year, we will celebrate 50 years of diplomatic relations between Bahrain and Germany. And in this occasion, the occasion of the National Day, I want to extend all my best wishes to Bahrain and its good people for more prosperity and progress.
On behalf of the Government of India and the Indian community in Bahrain, I convey warm greetings and felicitations to the leadership, government and the people of friendly Kingdom of Bahrain. This is a special year as India and Bahrain are also celebrating Golden Jubilee of establishment of diplomatic relations. Our bilateral relations, rooted in history and close people-to-people connect over thousands of years, have been further strengthened and diversified in recent years. Over the years, the Kingdom of Bahrain has made tremendous strides in all spheres of economy. The resilience of Bahrain's economy was evident during the COVID-19 pandemic. This, coupled with Kingdom's liberal and tolerant policies and welcoming society, has made it a preferred destination for the Indian community. Kingdom's care of Indian community during the difficult times of COVID-19 pandemic was remarkable. Once again, I joined the Indian community in Bahrain in conveying our best wishes on this momentous occasion to the people of Kingdom of Bahrain.
العلاقات المغربية البحرينية متميزة جدا، راسخة وصامدة، تستمد قوتها من متانة العلاقة الأخوية والشخصية بين صاحب الجلالة الملك محمد السادس وحضرة صاحب الجلالة الملك حمد بن عيسى آل خليفة حفظهم الله، وأيضا من قوة أواصر الأخوة بين الشعبين الشقيقين، ومن صلابة الأسس التي ترتكز عليها وهي المحبة والوفاء والتضامن.
We value our long-standing bilateral relationship and thank His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa for their continued commitment to our historic and still growing strategic partnership. The United States appreciates our unwavering bond and shared security commitment, including through Bahrain's hosting of the U.S. Naval Forces Central Command and U.S. Fifth Fleet. We value our outstanding economic cooperation and the U.S.-Bahrain Free Trade Agreement, which has helped trade grow an astounding 300% since its implementation in 2006. And we're proud of our expanding people-to-people ties that grow yearly through our cultural and educational exchanges. As in the past, the United States and Bahrain will continue to build on our historic relationship by advancing cooperation across all areas.
We are very grateful to the Bahraini public and private sector for working closely with our embassy and the government of Thailand to promote and expand our cooperation in all areas. The Royal Thai government and the Royal Thai Embassy in Manama look forward to enhancing our cooperation with the government of Bahrain in order to strengthen our existing close partnership and to explore new potential areas of mutual interest in the post-COVID-19 era. It is my great honor to convey my congratulations and best wishes to His Majesty, the King of Bahrain, and Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, Crown Prince and Prime Minister, and the people of Bahrain on the auspicious occasion of the National Day of the Kingdom of Bahrain.
And now we have reached to the end of this special coverage as we are celebrating the National Day in commemoration of the establishment of the Bahraini state as an Arab and Muslim country founded by Ahmed al-Fatih in 1783, the anniversary of its full membership in the United Nations, and the anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne. Profound pride, great patriotism and full allegiance. We would like to thank you for watching, wishing you all happy National Day. Goodbye.